Hello and welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. It's International Week, which means only one thing, all things Ireland focus on, with a little bit of focus on the opposition, of course. Republic of Ireland obviously playing Georgia this Saturday. Gary, you're heading to Tbilisi, but for people that maybe travelling haven't travelled before, what can they expect from Tbilisi itself?
So it's actually quite a pleasant city. The prices are fantastic. It's a beer is pretty cheap, even if you go to the more westernised bars. Most Irish fans will end up in the Hangar Bar. I think it's McClarahan's or something. Anyway, it's you can't go far in the city centre without hitting lots of Irish fans. I would encourage people to get out and see some of the city as well. It's quite a pleasant place. You can walk around. The locals are very friendly. Hotels are cheap, taxis are cheap, meals are cheap. It's very safe as well, and the stadium is in a very safe area. There's no problem with tickets. €2 each were being charged, but even for somebody who doesn't have a ticket, there won't be a problem getting one.
Absolutely.
So really looking forward to it. Been there a couple of times already, and the big thing is to go there and get the 3 points.
Yeah, which brings us back to the football, and thanks very much for being the international tour guide there for people. But you heard, what's the name of the pub? McLaren's?
I think it's McClarahan's and McLaren's, and the Hangar Bar is probably the one I spent more time in.
So Irish fans, I'm sure you'll see Gary there, of course. But then on to Georgia itself. I suppose you know what they're. You know from being there and seeing them, and we know from the results. They like to play with the ball. They're good on the ball. They actually had more possession than us in. They had 50-50 possession, but they actually had more completed passes than us in our 1-0 victory at home in the Aviva with Conor Harahan's free kick, the night of the tennis balls. But they like to keep the ball, and they frustrated us before in Tbilisi the last time we played them.
Well, actually, it was more than frustrating us. I think the possession stats were something horrendous the last time we were in Tbilisi. They do like to keep the ball. They're good on the ball. They have the ability to score and shoot from distance. I kind of feel if you get at them, there will be chances there. I think they've had a few different goalkeepers when we've played them, and I've never had a lot of confidence. That's a good thing from our perspective. A lot of confidence in any of them. I'd really like Shane Duffy to be playing at the back and even as a goal threat. But they are a good side. They keep the ball, they pass the ball, and they will have a noisy, passionate crowd behind them. So it's never an easy place to go and get a result or get a win. And I mean, Denmark only managed a scoreless draw out there. We only managed a 1-1 draw there the last time, having won in our 2 previous visits.
Yeah.
And again, our 2 previous visits were both 2-1 wins. I mean, they were tight games. I think it was an Aidan McGeady goal and the last kick of the game.
He scored 2 in that game, didn't he?
He got 2 in that game in 20, but it was the last kick of the goal.
It was a little flick around the corner and he buried it with his left foot, actually. Yeah,
and Gary Doherty got a late winner going back to 2003 now. But again, it was 10 or 15 minutes from time, I think, when we got the winner. If we go there and win, it will be a really great 3 points. But if we don't win, it's going to be a disappointment.
Yeah, well, I mean, outside I suppose I'll put us in the top 3 because we're currently top of the group, albeit with a game in hand. But obviously Georgia are next in line then, and they've made upsets in the past. I mean, I suppose from the games anyway, they got beaten by us. They got beaten by Denmark, but they beat Gibraltar 3-0, and then they drew with Korea Republic in a friendly, and drew most recently 0-0 with Denmark at home, which is obviously a massive result for us, and I think everybody was raising a glass in Dublin when we found out that result. But just in regards their danger men, I mean, 2 of their most notable players are playing for San Jose Earthquakes in the MLS. One's their centre back, Guram Kashiu, and he's 32. He's made 22 appearances this season for San Jose Earthquakes, and in total he's had 76 appearances, and he's got 2 goals for them at centre back. And then you're looking around the rest of their team, their forwards, none of their forwards have actually scored a goal, but 4 of their midfielders have got 1 goal each. 3 would have been against Gibraltar, and I'm not sure of the other one that they scored, but it's a goal nonetheless. I suppose the most dangerous forward is Georgi Kviliata, and he plays for Ghent in Belgium. And his international record is 19 games and 6 goals, which is decent. And then they have left winger Valery Kazashvili, if you want to say it that way. He used to play with Vitesse Arnhem in Holland and Legia Warsaw of Poland. Obviously, he plays for San Jose Earthquakes. He's actually made 31 appearances for San Jose this season. He's got 8 goals and 6 assists. And it was Georgian records for 41 caps and 10 goals, which again for left winger isn't bad. And then they have another. I suppose this is the last of their threats. Attacking midfielder Tornik Orekashvili, and he's playing with a club called Anortis at the moment. But he has previously played with Shakhtar, Genk in Belgium, and Krasnodar, who've been in and around the UEFA Europa League actually recently enough. So he has a bit of pedigree about him. His appearances so far this season, I think he's getting on a little bit now, I think. But he's got 3 appearances, no goals this season for Anortis. I think that's how you say it. But his Georgian record is 38 games and 9 goals. So again, they're not entirely clinical, but they have goals around the park that we need to be we need to be careful of. I'm sure you remember Darren Randolph made a fabulous save when we played them in the Aviva. I think he tipped it around the post, or he tipped it off the post, and it went out for a corner. But it was very late on in the game, and it looked like that was going straight in. Another vital save by him as well. But as I was saying, you can see that they've danger all over they do have danger, say not all over the place, but midfield more so. They're probably the most dangerous. And as I was saying about their centre back, Cashew, he seems to have a great pass percentage rate, like of ball retention and keeping the ball. He seems to be the one with the highest pass accuracy. And when they played us, they had 73% pass accuracy, and we had 72. So it wasn't that much of the difference, but they did have more completed passes than us. So they do like to hold on to the ball, and they do like to shoot from distance. And I think that's how they scored their goal before against us. It was from distance, wasn't it?
One
of them anyway.
The equaliser in Tbilisi.
Yeah,
I can't remember now off the top of my head.
Oh, but as far as I remember, there was one that just, or maybe I'm thinking Cyprus. It could be.
No. Well, they certainly have scored against us, and they have been a threat from distance.
Yeah.
And certainly in that game in Tbilisi, we scored early. I think through Shane Duffy, and they were fully deserving
backs
at the
to
point.
The wall, yeah.
And it was more or less backs to the wall, and they played us off the park that evening. I thought we were a lot better in the game in Dublin in March. I mean, it was 1-0, it was Conor Horan, as you said, but I thought it was a fully deserved victory, and we played really well, having been pretty poor in Gibraltar a few days earlier.
Yeah, and you've got to remember, we were only getting used to Mick McCarthy's, I suppose, his second term, but we were only getting used to it, and everyone was expecting us to go out and get beaten by Georgia after the display in Gibraltar, albeit the wind and everything else. But I for one was giving the players a pass on that one, and I thought they could have probably won the game in the Aviva by 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think we could. I mean, we played pretty well, and I don't think 2 or 3 or even 4 wouldn't have flattered us too much.
Yeah.
I mean, our previous home games against Georgia had been 1-0 wins as well, the previous couple. So it's going to be tight on Saturday. It's absolutely crucial we get the points. I probably have a concern from our perspective that potentially we're missing 3 of our first choice back 4. I mean, Enda Stevens is suspended and Richard Keogh is definitely out. As we're talking, we don't know yet. We Shane Duffy, it's probably not looking good.
Well, his dad was talking to me on Saturday and said to me that before Mick actually came out and said that he felt good. So he basically said he'll be travelling with the squad.
Okay,
So
that's good to hear.
Mick basically said in the press conference today, which you can see here.
In terms of who you got fit, who's got the better chance, do you think, Shane Duffy or David McGoldrick?
I don't know.
Do you have to put a time limit on, because obviously Tony touched on it, you've got to prepare, you've got to get a back four in line, and is there a time where you think, right, okay, that's it, we have to make a decision? And will it be several days before?
I've just told Shane via a text message. I responded to his message. I said the plane's leaving at 2 o'clock from Dublin Airport to Tbilisi, so we'll keep the seat with extra legroom for you as we normally do. Don't be late.
What day's that you going?
Thursday.
Okay.
Didsy, I haven't spoken to him since, but he's been on the grass, he's been training. As I said, Guy, they're all far more optimistic about them being involved. And, you know, if they don't come to Tbilisi, they get a flight to Geneva and we'll see them there if they're fit for that game.
I don't see Shane Duffy not travelling, so it'll be a case of whether he gets assessed or he might have a late fitness test. If they're going to be, he basically said that they were going to be working on defensive patterns, and most likely Matt Doherty's going to play left back.
Yeah, I think that's probably
that's what I think he's pretty much said that. Although there might be a case of putting Connolly on the left and McLean behind him, there might be that situation in there too. So we don't know yet. But if I was to be a betting man, I'd be putting on Doherty. But it sounded like he was going to be working on their positional play. So it sounded like it was going to be probably most likely Coleman, Long, Egan, and Doherty as the back four, and they were going to work from that. Which for me makes sense. If Duffy's carrying a knock, I'd say keep him for Switzerland. We'll probably need him more for Switzerland. Although he is that good, and he's probably been our best player for the last 2 years. I just wouldn't rush him back for that game. I would rush him back for the Switzerland game, and if you can give a couple of days rest.
I wouldn't agree actually. I think Saturday is the key game. I think if we win Saturday, qualification opens up. I know it also depends on what happens in Copenhagen later that night, but I'm actually much more focused and I think Tbilisi and Saturday is the game to win.
I still think we can win with that back four.
It just concerns me because it's been such a strength. I mean, Mick was a centre half himself, and our back four and Randolph behind have just been so strong. It's been the strongest part of the team.
The foundation,
The foundation, they know each other, they play well together. Just Duffy and Kyo was such a great partnership. Seamus Coleman and Enda Stevens on either side. I mean, you're potentially replacing three of them, and if I could have Shane Duffy for one game, it would actually be Saturday. Switzerland is crucial as well, but if we get 3 points on Saturday and Denmark don't win Saturday night, probably a draw against Denmark in the Aviva will send us to the finals. We could afford to lose in Geneva. Obviously, if we win on Saturday and potentially get any sort of a result, a 2-2 draw in Geneva might be enough to even qualify us as well, depending again on what happens in Copenhagen. But if we win on Saturday, if we have to get the 3 points, I don't want any of this talk looking for a point. A point is a terrible result. I was punching the air when the result came through last month that Denmark drew in Tbilisi. That was a brilliant result for us. We need to win and take advantage of it. And I think Saturday's crucial. I think if Shane Duffy can play Saturday and not on Tuesday,
I'd almost be more in a situation to bring McGoldrick. Actually, I think he's more important. I think McGoldrick has been probably our player of the campaign so far. You look at the game against Georgia, which probably was the real rise for him in terms of how his importance. Yeah. Because you remember how under O'Neill that we just didn't have anything up front. We just didn't have anything. And people can say whatever they like. We don't have the players, whatever Martin O'Neill says, whatever. Clearly that's been shown that we do have the players. But what I basically mean is, like, his hold up play and everything is brilliant. And he's only after getting obviously the goal as well against Switzerland, and I was hoping that he was going to build on that, because he came close to scoring a couple of times against Georgia at home. Yeah. And I do think that if we're going to be playing them away from home, we're going to need the ball to stick up the other end of the field, which the game the last time we played against Tbilisi. It just didn't. My other way of looking at it is, I don't. I was going to say I don't see anyone else kind of coming in, but I do. James Collins, I think, can do that lone striker role very well. I think.
Yeah, he did very well against Bulgaria. I hope we're not in the situation. I think David McGoldrick has had a great campaign, and he is a player that the ball will stick to when you're under pressure. I hope we're not under the cosh, and we shouldn't be under the cosh too much in Tbilisi. We will be in Geneva, so maybe he's more important for Geneva than. But yeah, we also need to score a goal or possibly 2 goals. So yeah, James Collins. You also have the option of playing Aaron Connolly down the middle. I mean, his best position is a central striker. I mean, is it too big an ask for him?
I just think the way Mick plays, he wouldn't do that. I think he'd have him as a wider striker, like similar to probably to the way he plays Robinson or McLean.
Well, that's what he's been playing for the under-21s as well, for Stephen Kenny.
Well, that's what he kind of hinted at.
He
kind of hinted at that today when he was in the press conference. He said he could play in both. I base what he says. Last week, he must have thought that he was a winger, and obviously he hadn't watched them that much. For the under-21s, he was calling them Montenegro rather than Armenia. Okay. And he had to be corrected on that, but it was because the women's had played Montenegro, so he just got mixed up, which is fair enough. He's getting on a bit. But anyway, he basically was saying that he wouldn't have Connolly had a McLean. This was only last week he was saying that, and now since he scored and played up front as a striker, he's seen obviously highlights. He didn't watch the game, but Robbie Keane watched the game and was reported back to him about it basically. But the thing about Connolly is he could play anywhere across that front three. He could play out wide right, he could play out wide left, or he could play down the middle, and he gives us options. And he also, what Mick said, similar to James McLean, is he plays with personality. He's hungry. You can see he wants. He's not just happy to just be on the pitch. He wants to try and make an effect on the game. He wants to try and get a goal. He wants to try and get an assist. You know, I think that he needs to start Connolly. I think Connolly would frighten these. I also think, and I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but I also think that Josh Cullen should start rather than Glenn Whelan, because I think he'd cover more ground, and it's just purely down to covering more ground, nothing to do with ability. I do think Glenn Whelan's still very good, but Cullen's playing week in, week out, and he's probably playing the best football of his career at the minute. Same with John Egan.
Yeah, but I would actually, and I will disagree. Sorry, I'm a big Glenn Whelan fan, but not just that. I think if you go back to my point about losing the continuity that we are losing with at least 2, if not 3, of our regular back 4 out. If you take Glenn Whelan out then from in front of them, you're really changing the team, I think, a bit too much. I think Glenn Whelan will start.
Well, you look at Josh, the Bulgaria game, the Egan, Long, Cullen all played. And Cullen got man the match.
Josh played really well, and he's definitely.
I know it's only a friendly, and the probably pace wasn't as high.
Yeah, but I think it was. I mean, you're going away from home in a big crowd, a hostile atmosphere, in a place like Tbilisi. I think you want someone like Glenn Whelan in front of your defence. In
an ideal world, I'd have James McCarthy, but whenever it is what it is, he's not in the squad. But like I'm optimistic going into this game. I'm not biting my nails like so worried as I would be probably a Switzerland or a Denmark. I'm going into this game optimistic. I believe we can win.
Yeah, I certainly think we can win. I think I would expect us to win, but I think it's going to be a very tight game, and it's probably going to be a 1-0, 2-1, or possibly another 1-1 draw. I think we'll shade it. A win would be huge, and it would be a great win. A draw would be a very disappointing result. And there's really nothing in between. And And then it depends on what happens, because I think the events in Copenhagen later on that night, more or less straight after our game, I think, will have a big factor as well.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's not really much else to touch on. We've basically covered all in regards to the players, but it would be nice to see maybe someone like Aaron Connolly or Callum Robinson get the winning goal, break their, well, I wouldn't say his duck because he hasn't played at the for the national team yet, but Callum Robinson, to see him maybe break his duck and get that goal that he probably deserves for all his hard work that he puts in. He always puts in a shift.
He does. He puts in a great shift. I'd be happy for anyone to get a winning goal for
yeah,
a winning
no, of
Irish
course,
goal,
but
yeah,
just
it would
take
be
confidence
nice,
then. You know,
Yeah,
the good thing is all our players and all our strikers, maybe bar Sean Maguire, are scoring goals regularly enough. Collins is.
Yeah.
Hogan's back scoring again.
He scored at the weekend.
Yeah,
which is
Connolly's
great,
scoring, and then Maguire was scoring previous the week before, but just didn't score last week. But he was playing out left, I think, for Preston last week.
I still get the feeling there aren't a lot of goals. It's nice to see the striker scoring. I still get a feeling there aren't a lot of goals in our side against.
I think Howerton's going to be crucial though.
Yeah, his delivery and set pieces and everything. Yeah, and he scored as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but he also he set up one. He won a penalty, which Villa unfortunately missed. But I think he set up 2 goals as well on top of that. So he was brilliant at the weekend, and he's back to his best, which is at a perfect time. Jeff Hendrick scoring goals again, brilliant for him to get another goal. So yeah, positive here anyway. Because there's always too much negativity around Irish football, and it really does my head in. So,
well, it's at club level. It was a fantastic weekend for Mick McCarthy with so many players. Paul's name, pretty much all of them as well. So we have a fantastic chance of qualifying, and just go and get the win on Saturday, and then we'll worry about Geneva.
Well, let us know your predictions in the comments. Let us know what score you think it's going to be and who you'd have first. If I was going to give my prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win with Jeff Hendrick and Aaron Connolly to score.
I'll go for 1-0 with Aaron Connolly to get the winner.
In the 80th minute. Well, there you have it. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so now, and we will speak to you soon. Make sure to check out the rest of our content from this week. We'll have plenty of it. We'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.